Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dingers and Discourse podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Mario Superstar Baseball. This is episode 13, and I'm joined with Clutch 1908 and Karazzy. Welcome into the show, guys. How you doing?
Doing good.
Doing good, Raviannn. Coming off a long night last night, but excited to be here on the pod today to talk some Mario baseball as always.
A long night indeed. Coming up on the episode today, we have the Stars Off All-Star Game, Mid-Tier Mania 2, Rastle at the Castle, and a little bit talking about the National Net Play League drafts. Notable tournaments that are coming up here. We have Stars on 9 that is in session right now. We are not going to be talking about that until the tournament has concluded. And as well as the Dinger City Stars On tournament, you'll be hearing about that one next week on next week's episode. So let's get it started here early. Clutch, you want to introduce the Stars Off All-Star Game?
Sure. So I did it in all caps, the Stars Off All-Star Game, number 1. Yes, there might be more renditions of it. We'll see. It was a smashing success last night. We had 16 participants. And for those who didn't listen to the podcast last week, basically the format was each team got to pick from the same pool of characters. It was basically Bowser, Bro, Petey, Birdo, DK, Yoshi, and then you had your choice of third baseman. You could go Madge, KB, or Waluigi. You had your choice of pitcher, Boo, or one of the monkeys, and then you had your choice of wall jumper in right field, one of the Mario Bros, or Bowser Jr. And then the other special things was all the star hits were worth only 1 star. So even those non-captain characters, they were only 1-star swings. Which, between being absolutely loaded on both sides of the ball and also having only 1-star swings, you would expect there to be a lot of run scoring. And I can report that did happen. The tournament average for runs scored was 17.87 runs per game.
Wow.
So dang.
There was a lot of runs scored. We had a very interesting situation. So the winner of the tournament is not one winner, but 2. Remke and Boomerang Bro. They teamed up to win because Remke could play the early part of the tournament. Boomerang Bro can only play the later part of the tournament. And on their own, either of them would have been the number 1 seed. So I said, fine, since you both would have been the number 1 seed, you can team up. If they would have been different seeds, or if we would have had a weird number if I let them in, I would have told them no. But it was a for-fun tournament. They would have been in literally the same spot, so it didn't change the logistics. So I'm like, fine, you guys can tag in and out. Second place was Chris Toasty. He had a real nice run in loser side. And then I came in third. I was in that finals game. And then lost to Toasty in the second and third place game. So I guess some highlights of the tournament. Quarterfinals game, myself and Toasty, I won it 19-18. I'm pretty sure that was on a walk-off. No, that was not on a walk-off. I held on to the lead. My next game against Faceman, 9-7, was on a walk-off PD Dinger. And then Boomerang Bro beat me 15-14 in the finals when I threw a Birdo ball, and it was just a down the middle one, and he sack flied with the bases loaded with Bro. If I could have got through that, it would have been 2 outs. I would have had BJ up. I think I would have gotten out of it. So very, very tough to see the Birdo ball not pay off. Other good games in this tournament. Walrus had a 10-run comeback, won 17-16 in the consolation. That game was insane.
Who was that against?
That was against B-Mills. Flatbread played Poke in consolation quarterfinals. That was a 12-9 game. That was really good. I didn't get to see this one, but Bolt and Poke played a 12-8 game. That was pretty close. Honestly, I'm looking at it, and I think the really cool thing about this, that outside of Remke early and Bolts and then Toasty won the last 2 of his games by mercy, which what the heck he did against Flatbread and myself. Not a lot of mercies, even with like the 1s versus 16s or the 2s versus 15s. Like, I think the higher scoring ability kept people in it. They weren't super close games, but like they were putting up runs too, and I thought that was really cool to see. The 1-star swings were super hype. I think people really enjoyed having that at their disposal, because we got to see like Mario Fireballs, and like we were talking about, Yoshi Egg seems so bad when it's 2 stars, or it seems so bad when you make him your captain for only 1 star. But when everyone's 1 star, Yoshi Egg seems really good. So I mean, it was a really fun format. I would like to see other people give their takes on it, but it'll probably happen again. Maybe it'll be like a little league where we do it around the MLB All-Star break each year. But I think I'll bring it back at some point.
I think it's a phenomenal idea. I mean, people like these one-off event tournaments just to have a little bit of fun, mix up the game, so you're not playing the same thing every time. And this was one of the better ones. Clutch, you knocked it out of the park with this one, literally, with your multiple wins and walk-off wins. So I enjoyed it as a spectator. I was tuning in and out through like multiple streams that were going on. Very good job. Good job. Well done.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I was unable to attend / watch, but just the idea, and it sounds like the high scoring games, that's something I love. But yeah, the idea of it, and Clutch, correct me if I'm wrong, pitchers can't get tired.
Correct. That was also a big code too. And we talked about how that was huge. So like, we had like 1918, but Toasty and I were both pitching Boo the whole time. So like, it didn't matter. Yeah.
I think that's a great addition. I feel like a lot of modes kind of have like something that's bad about it. And when I first heard about Stars Off All-Star Game, I was like, ooh, aren't the pitchers going to get tired fast? But you had a cause for it, which is smart.
Yeah, because I mean, I put it in the rules document. I'm like, even if I allowed, and by the way, no fielder swapping too, which I think people liked. It kept the games moving.
Yeah.
And I mean, Yoshi in left field is more than fine because you still had Birdo or DK up the middle. And then also you couldn't like celebrity pitcher every inning. I think that would have been kind of broken if you would have used your stars on a Birdo egg to get out of big at bats a couple times a game. But yeah, there's not really a good relief pitcher. If you do KB at third, that might be your best one. Like whoever your third baseman is, KB, Madge, or Walu. Otherwise, like Bowser's a gimmick, Bro's a gimmick, DK's a gimmick.
DK maybe for like an at bat or two.
Yeah, like that. Just there was no one good, and then it screws up your defense. Like there's no good place to put Boo other than like first base. So I'm like, right away, I'm like, no, we got to play with no stamina. Let your pitcher be there the whole time. And I mean, people were pitching to Bowser because the whole lineup is a mess. And I thought people would maybe be like, oh my gosh, this is so OP. It's so frustrating. But even the people that were like getting knocked down a little bit, I think they enjoyed the fact that they had offense. And also it's like, what are you going to do? Like, it doesn't come down to one at bat. It felt like pitching was more about like, and I compared it to Stars Off is Stars Off pitching, you have to execute every at bat because you need to not be in trouble when Bowser and Bro come up. But in this game mode, you're in trouble the whole time because almost anyone can put it out of the park, or you can get 2 singles with really good slap hitters like Luigi into Yoshi. Like, you're in trouble the whole time. So it comes down to actually executing in a key at bat or two versus like having to pitch well the whole game. And if you miss your execution there, you have so much firepower on the other side that you can come back and take back the lead pretty easily versus you might be out of stars. And if you're like the non-Bowser team, being out of stars is really tough if you let up a big Bowser or Bro homer. So it's like, it feels like the game is always within reach. And I think that was the most fun part of it. I mean, like I said, plenty of comebacks, plenty of back and forth games. I think, like I said, I don't think it'll be a commonplace mode, but like I think people want to revisit it. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely cemented the comeback part. You're always in the game. The Walrus Bean Mills game. I saw that game. I watched the comeback happen. That was a good definition of it. All right, is that going to be it for this? I'm assuming.
Yeah, why don't we go to some Stars On action?
All right. So we did have Rastle at the Castle, another Stars On event hosted by none other than Vickless Falcon, Husker Alex, as we like to call him here in this little groups. Good tournament again. I wasn't really a part of it. I was a part of it. I got eliminated very early, so my experience wasn't there early. guys want to talk about what happened in the tournament?
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead. So we saw Remke winning it over Hells. Not a huge surprise seeing Remke win something, especially in Stars On. But Hells coming in second place was probably the most interesting part for me, just because we don't see Hells like making a lot of noise in Stars On, but he's always preached Bowser's Castle is the best stadium in Stars On. So kind of glad to see him defend his home turf. But yeah, I think Vickless has brought it up a couple times, but very high scoring games throughout this tournament. Maybe not so much like towards the end, but in the earlier parts of the tournament, huge scoring games. Bowser's Castle kind of conclusively is the highest scoring like run environment for Stars On, which I found pretty fascinating. That's pretty much all my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that as well. If we go over some of the games, even in the grand finals, first game was 1-0, next game was 10-0. So it has both sides. Remke did a very good job with the drafting part, in my opinion, from what I've saw and from his lineups. People figuring out how to play the stadium. You got to go with the curve trajectory batters being Boo, King Boo, and Boomer. It helps a lot to get it past those swamps. It gives you more run production because those swamps block a lot of the home runs. I feel like if you got to work around, fix the drafting lineups a little bit, who you normally pick in a Stars On a stadium, and that helped you there. So if you're ever going Bowser's Castle, you got to pick Boo, King Boo, and Boomer. They'll help you get some home runs there.
Yep.
They'll help you hit
Anything
homers.
You want to add?
Yeah.
I think, like I said, we found out that Bowser's Castle was actually the most offensive. I think people have to adjust their expectations if you're going to use PD or PM or Bowser. Actually, I think PM is a terrible pick there, but PD's still really good, and Bowser's still pretty good. I think I talked about it in a previous episode, but Vic had a theory that in classic modes, Bowser Castle for Bowser might not be terrible because people will pitch to Bowser thinking that you can't hit it out. Then you just like line doubles off the center field wall, or you like hit it high off the thwomps and it starts bouncing around, and next thing you know, you're on third base with Bowser. I think that's exactly it. You got to change your mindset from, man, if I hit it to a thwomp, it's not going out, to if I avoid the wall jumpers in left and right field and hit it to center field, where center field is probably, I believe Bowser Castle center field is the shortest center field in the game. If I just hit it off the center field, if you just hit it off the center field wall and they don't have a clamber out there, then I think that's where you could start getting a lot of offensive production too. And I didn't watch the games closely. I don't know if people were picking up on that, but yeah, it's definitely draft dependent on making sure you take the curve trage characters. And when you have the pull homer characters, it's trying to hit it more to center field, get it off that wall, and play doubles baseball instead of trying to get it all back on homers.
Yeah, I think I was playing Flatbread earlier today on Bowser's, and I think like GSG and like Red Noki were like consistently hitting it like uncatchable at center field wall, at least outside of like non-clamber range, and it was good. It was solid doubles every time. That short center field wall was big.
That might be the move, actually, and I don't think people were doing this during the tournament, but like instead of PM, why not Red Noki? And then you can fly ball off the center field wall because you got the mid trage. So they get a power boost actually hitting out the center field. That actually would be a good test.
Yeah.
Definitely be different. Definitely a different take. I mean, this is still very early. Stars On meta still being developed. I mean, it was very recent that we figured out, like more obviously, that we need to pick Boo, King Boo, and Boomer on Bowser. So there's a lot more to develop still for the meta, and I feel like that's a very good strategy. So moving on here, talk about Mid-Tier Mania 2, a tournament that Legendary Bolt did take home, taking down Ethab Taxi 8-4 in finals. Another tournament, I think this is hosted by Sam N. Shout out Sam N. Great tournament again. got some new people that haven't really been playing on these high-level tournaments a chance to give them a shot to win a tournament. Notable names. Let's see. Let's get some notable names in this tournament here with Legendary Bolt.
Baltor
Ethab,
says.
Baltor, Seas, yeah.
Wallace.
Seas unfortunately had to DQ.
Oh, that's what ended up happening. I'm like, he got lost early. Seas. Big Nick was in here. I know he's been making more waves and stars on than off, but I mean, he had a decent. I guess my initial takeaways are Bolt has been hanging around the periphery of Mario Baseball, I think, for a while, and then he beat me in Rookie Rumble 2 in semifinals. He ended up being the runner-up in that one. I forget who even won that one. They're like not active anymore if they're even in the server.
I think it was DD, right?
They're not active anymore.
And then Ryan was there too, and those were like the big names looking at it. And then I'm gonna be completely honest, from that group of like 4 or 5 people were like, maybe they can make some noise. I feel like I was the only one that was like towards the top of the leaderboard last season. I feel like I was the only one that took a step forward. Well, I'll tell you what, Bolt has now taken a huge step forward. He's above me on the board right now. He's been super hot since he started playing Mid-Tier Mania. I think something's clicked for him. And so that's been really interesting to see. Ethab, ridiculous run. I don't know if he won his first one, if that was another DQ over Grump. He loses to Big Nick in round 1 and proceeds to win. I'm going to count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in loser side to come back up to winner side finals.
Sorry to cut you off for a second, Clutch, but I believe Wob, who he played in loser semis, also won 7 in a row from losers. So you had this kind of like double, like huge loser run from both, and it culminated in loser semis. And I want to say that game came down to a top of the 9th inning comeback from Ethab. So very, very interesting game there.
And Ethab had to beat Super in a 1-run game. Had to beat Baltor by 9. I remember Baltor talking about that game. He's like, this guy just kept hitting everything I was throwing. He's like, I don't know what to do. He was like, I just threw my hands up. He beat Big Nick for revenge, because that's who he lost to in the opening round. And then, like you said, that Wob, who had another ridiculous losers run. And then Cornboy, who, again, comes out of nowhere to be in losers finals and actually lost to Bolt in winner semifinals. I mean, the tournament did exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to give some new names some recognition, give them a competitive environment where instead of them, having to be proud of, and I hope they are proud of it when it happens, where they win pools for MPSS or they place top 16, like they're 1 game away from making it to top 8 or something like that. I forget what the breakdown is in double elim. Like they're like 1 game short of top 8. I hope they, that they take great pride in that, because if you think about it, mid-tier, they should be outside the top 8. So if they're hitting 1 game away, they're hitting at or above their weight. And then so this tournament lets them actually have some results that they can like say, hey, I did this. Look at what I did. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm glad it did what it's supposed to do, and it'll make some top tier players have some names they got to look out for and be careful of.
Yeah, top 8 for this tournament: Heckaroni, then Baltor, Big Nick, Balam Transfer, Wob, Cornboy, Ethab, and Legendary Bolt. Notable runs again. Ethab playing 10 games, the most games out of anyone in this tournament. Next up was Wob with 8 games. So a lot of good baseball in this tournament, and again, a very good tournament for all of those mid-tier players. So to move on to the next topic here, we have the Stars on National Net Play League, hosted by none other than Brua. He has allowed, I believe it is 18 players in 2 divisions to go at it for a snake draft. With how many players were there? Like, God.
18 total, I want to say.
No, sorry, like actual characters to draft.
108, I think.
Yeah,
108?
9 times 12,
Because
108.
9 times 12, yeah.
Yeah, 108 players. That is a lot to draft from. With dupes on for some characters. A good draft, in my opinion, for the West. That's what I was a part of. I didn't really take a look at the East one. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the draft that just happened and talk about the league that's happening soon. So let's start off first with the East draft, as that was the draft that none of us were a part of. We can break that down a little bit. Krazzy, I want to get your take into this. Taking into account the stars on actual like tier list here we have settled in. Do you agree with the first round picks?
I think I agree with all of them except for one, and that is Toadsworth at 6 from Flatbread. I think I disagree, but he loves Toadsworth, and you know what? Can't put it past him.
I mean, yeah, if it's a comfortable character, I know from him just personally. He's told me that his stars on National Net Play League team is so much fun, and that's what it's really all about.
Yeah.
You can have a comfortable team that you love, up to down. You can just play anyone, have so much fun with the whole lineup. You picked a good draft. Okay,
Yeah.
You can lose every game as long as you're having fun. That's what you want to do. So
Yeah.
he secures a Toadsworth there. I don't think he might have got. I mean, he probably would have gotten Toadsworth coming around again, if you think about it. But you secure a Toadsworth. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Clutch, anything you might not disagree with or might agree with other than what we've seen here?
I mean, the draft strategy from Cammy was pretty clear on every turnaround to take double characters that were available, which I think is incredible. That's automatic chem for that player. For some of them, Boo chem is huge, and also you have 2 boos to pitch with. You think about it. So, if
pitching's no worry for Cammy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, are you guys going to, instead of 5-inning best of 3s, 7-inning doubleheaders?
7 innings doubleheaders. Yep.
Yep.
So you're going to need a backup pitcher more than you used to in Stars On in National Net Play League. Double Wario with chem becomes more of a home run threat, and then even double Bowser Jr. with more chem has more of a threat, and then double Green Shy Guy. I mean, I don't think it's going to change too much, but
and also just to add, picking up Diddy in the 7th round to be able to go to DK Jungle, so you can be sure Cammy's going to be hitting nukes. You can be sure.
Yeah, Cammy's a threat for that league there in the East draft. You're gonna have a pitcher always. You have 2 wall jumpers on both sides. You have basically a double Wario middle infield. If you're playing on a big stadium, you have that Diddy clamber. It's a good draft. In my opinion, I would be happy with this team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
I wonder what might happen in future drafts, because I'm being completely honest. It seems like if you're at the top spot, not so much the top spot, but the bottom spot is so overpowered, because I think you have your choice of double picks throughout the whole draft, because, you know, once you get to 2 and 3, I don't think there's a character there that's really worth doubling up on if you're the 1 pick. But like I said, round 1, if you get double Toadsworth, double Fire Bro, double Boo, like I think all of those are worthy of your 1st and 2nd round picks. Especially knowing that they're going to come together. On their own, they could still be a 1st or a 2nd round pick. I mean, I wonder if that will have to be addressed in future iterations of National Net Play League. We'll have to see. But I think that's super powerful to be able to pick around the turns of the snake draft in National Net Play League.
It's crazy. I mean, don't want to spoil anything, but Riley's team for the draft was crazy. I mean, he really showed like how to abuse that method, and it helped him for trading. We're gonna talk about that later, but like good drafts strategies for the 9 pick. Like I said, like you said, the 1 pick doesn't really help that much. But still, like picking up double boost from Cammy was probably the smartest draft decision I saw in this whole draft.
Yeah. Especially because Boo fell all the way to 9. Like that was kind of wild to me watching that.
That was
draft.
one of the wildest things. I mean, it is, instead of one bro, you have 3 bros now. That is something you have to think about as well. But still, like, Boo can pitch, is one of the better pitchers in Stars On, can hit really well. You have a chem link, or you just push the ball in general on the shorter stadiums. Now you have 2 of them. You have a chem link. You have 2 pitchers. You don't have to worry about pitching anymore. It just does so much for Cammy. So yeah, let's see how that one works out. I think it'll work out very well though. And we haven't even talked about who is in this league. I think we should bring that up. So we have, I'll read the team names and the players for the East here. For the Boston Red Bones, B-Mills' team, Captain Luigi. For the Remke Fleecers, we have Remke with Captain DK. And then for the Four Seasons, Caesar's team, we have Captain Daisy. The Immovable Blobjects, Maury's team, Captain Birdo, the Nuchadores, for Nuch as Yoshi as the captain. The Swarty Swarths for Flatbread, Luigi captain. Lovely Nordiques, if I'm saying that right.
Nordiques, I believe, is what Baltimore is saying on stream. Yeah.
Nordiques for Patrick, Captain Luigi. The Brua Waluigis, Waluigi for Brua. And then Cammy's Commies for Cammy with Captain Bowser Jr. I love the team names, always a big fun part of the draft here. And we have a kind of variety. I think this one has every single except Yoshi's. So no one likes Yoshi Park.
Yoshi Park sucks. It sucks.
I see Maury's at Yoshi. Am I wrong?
Maury's at Wario.
And I do not have a current version.
Sheet, the rosters.
That would help so much. Okay, well then, yes. So he is not at Yoshi's. He changed that from draft to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna go off. So he's gonna be going at Wario Stadium now. He has Waluigi, so that's where he picked. Kind of better fits his team there. So yeah, I like the league here so far. Big stacked team, in my opinion, is Remke's team with DK and 3 Madges with Peach. Just by that itself, it's a threat and a half.
Yeah.
So that one, I'm kind of like,
I can't say anyone necessarily drafted wrong, but just the whole time through that draft on watching, I'm like, as I'm gonna put it, it's already hard enough to beat Remke. But the one shot you got might be trying to neuter his team as much as you possibly can. But when you hand him, I hate to say you hand him DK. I think Bowser DK at 1 for Stars On Classic is a fine. It's a coin flip. It's your preference. I don't think that's a problem. But then you end up handing him 3 Madges too, and Peach, who I think he's one of the best hitters with Peach out there. So
it's a scary one.
If he finds a way to trade for any chem, and he has Dixie, he's a good Dixie pitcher at Stars Off, and I think he's done it Stars On too and likes Dixie Stars On, so that's scary too. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just man, how do you let him have everything that he wants? This is kind of my thinking.
I don't know. If you're interested in looking at any of the drafts, talk about it in the Mario Superstar Baseball Club Stars On chat. They'll be more than happy to help you out with that. We're going to move on to the West, though. We're going to be looking at the draft here for the West. We do have, in this league, for the West, we have Faceman with the Face Mads, Vickless with the PJ Squirrel Barkers, the Toasty Tropical Tumbleweeds for Toasty, the Raviannn Cacahuetes for me, Raviannn. We have Dr. Winkley in here, Boomerang Bro. For Baltor, the Baltor Big Ballas, but I think he's changing his name to something different, which is the Baltor Moonball Mashers.
Oh,
so
sounds right.
That name's going to be changed.
Monty. Yeah.
And then we have for Krasy, you can say it yourself because I'm never going to say that.
Greg's nuts.
And then for Riley Scott 64, we have the Firing Squad with some fire emojis on both sides. Captains. Let's talk about the draft first, and we'll go into captains after that. So, For the draft, we have Faceman taking KB1, Vickless, Bowser, Toasty, DK, Raviannn, Boo, Winkley, Yoshi, Boomer, Baltor, Hammer, Krazzy, Birdo, and Riley double fire because he did take 2 picks. Do we agree about these draft picks?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
I feel like they're all valid.
Yeah, I think they're all valid. I think the only one I might dispute is probably Yoshi at 5. I think Boomer's probably better, but if Yoshi not at 5, probably at 6 or 7. So obviously not a huge.
It's more the same about thing like with, a personal thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Flatbread going with Toadsworth at 6 in the East. Winkley is such a defensive, like small ball player. Like it totally makes sense that he went with Yoshi. Like as soon as the pick came through, I'm like, that's a reach, and I'm like, but I'm not surprised, and I'm like, and I'm not even calling it a bad reach. So and then you got Toadsworth the next round. So like he pretty solidified his identity of defense and pitching. So he got probably the team he wanted through 2 rounds.
Yep.
Like I said, Riley just went double picks the whole way. It was a double Fire Bro, double Wario, double Bowser Jr., double Red Toad. So not even just a double any Toad. He got the best Toad. Double Monty and double Corn Pop. That's Yellow Toad. And he's utilized that to make some trades, having those double characters to get maybe some other characters that were drafted higher than those, but because he owned both of them and didn't give it to somebody else, if it made sense for their team for some reason, he had some good bartering chips, it looks like.
Yep.
Let's move on to the rosters here so we can take a little look at what was traded along here. We do have Riley Scott keeping a lot of his duplicates here. He does keep both of his Fire Bros, both of his Warios, both of his Bowser Juniors, but does get Daisy, his Ron, loses one of his Monty Moles, and keeps both of his Corn Pops. Does lose both of his Red Toads as well. Definitely did pretty well in the trading part. He got some characters he likes. Other players did get characters that they wanted here. In my opinion, giving away the Red Toads to Winkley was not the smartest. Because Winkley is a GOAT with the Red Toads, but it worked out in the end for everyone. They were happy. Anyone want to talk about anything that they don't like about trading that happened within the West Draft?
I think there's one trade in particular that I disagreed with, and I think that was, I want to say it was Winkley and Boomerang Bro. I think Winkley gave up like Swarth Toadette and Green Para for like PM. I'm forgetting the exact trade, but I want to say Winkley got some pretty good pieces in return for Toadsworth and Toadette. And that trade for Boomer, it makes sense. It makes sense to give yourself Peach Chem, especially with Toadsworth and Toadette. Get yourself a good pitcher. But he gave up PM, which I feel like PM's a big asset, especially when you don't really have any, what I would call good middle infielders. Some people might call Peach a good middle infielder. I'm not a huge fan. But kind of hurts his defense, but boosts his offense in a big way.
I think defense matters so much less in Stars On Classic than it does in Stars Off. Like I think if you have a poor middle infield, it really does neuter your team in Stars Off Classic, but it doesn't matter as much because the arms are better. So yeah, you might miss out on some like crazy range, but like I mean, sometimes even Yoshi middle infield I think comes up every game in Stars Off. I don't think comes up every game in Stars On. Like, you know, if it only really matters when you get like low trages. If the low trages aren't coming, then it really doesn't matter too much. No, sorry. I know I talked about, you know, Remke had Peach. He didn't really have any chem partners. The second best Peach that I've seen in the Stars On is Boomerang Bro, and you just gave him 2 of them. Double Toadette and Toadsworth, which, by the way, with the recent discovery of Righty Toadette and Toadsworth are super great slap hitters in their own right anyways. So, yeah, man, that's a team I really like. You know, I think it really does come down to have like 1 or maybe 2 cores of good chemistry partners to really lift up some characters that aren't like top tier, but like that makes them like mid tier by having them in their good chem trees, and then have one or two more top tier players and then like plug in the holes. I think that's like the key with Stars on Classic. If you try and take like a bunch of the like if you try and get like PM and PD and like a good captain and things like that, I don't think that's as good as like getting a Peach core or getting a Luigi core, like, or get a Pianta core, where basically you don't cost yourself stars, you take characters that can start hitting dingers because they have some chem with them. I think that's the key to Stars on Classic, is like finding those chem trees, and we'll see what happens. I'm saying this from an outsider perspective. I did not do as much work. I know there is plenty of mock drafting and big boarding by all the National Net Play League participants. So curious to see whose strategy pays off in the season.
Well, you can pick a great team. It just matters on how well you play. So that's what it really all comes down to. Let's see how it works. I think we're just waiting until stat files get fixed. So Peacock, take your time, know what's going on with you. So appreciate all the work that's going on in the community. What a great little league going on here from Brew. Again, thank you, Brewa, for that. Anything you want to add about the National Netplay League, guys?
I think just quick shout outs to Brewa and also Baltor, just for setting the whole thing up. Baltor for streaming it, and also
Baltor, very good job on the videos.
For sure, yeah. Brewa, I know he's been slaving away at the rules and the regulations and who goes in what division and what the draft looks like. And I think he also like redid the actual like players that are contained in the league, because it was a bit different last season, right?
Pardon?
Wasn't like the player comp different in the first season?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different duplicates and everything, and there's no free agents this season. You can't really leave anyone out. So yeah, a total of 109 players. Everyone drafted one. So the only way you want to get them around is by trading them. That happens throughout the whole season until playoffs, I believe. So you can do whatever you need to do to win the league here. So yeah, I think Bro's also doing some back end stuff to do like some more injury reports online and stuff. It's pretty cool. We got to see how that goes off though. We have to wait until all the stat files are fixed as well. But yeah, good shit. One more thing, Krasy. Have you thought about it? Blobbert for Wario.
You know what? I have been thinking about it, and I'm gonna have to decline, at least for now.
All right. If you ever want to do a counter offer, let me know.
Well, trying to trade live on the podcast right now, guys.
Other than that, that's gonna be it.
It's worth a shot.
You gotta do shit. You gotta do shit when you can. I haven't traded anything. My team's been raw and straight the whole time. Nothing's been changed. So
yeah.
Anyways, it's gonna be it for the Dingers and Discourse podcast, episode number 13, hosted with Clutch 1908, Krasy, and Raviannn. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. If you would like to help us out, you can leave a like on the YouTube video. Leave a comment if you want your comment to be featured in the next video. Leave us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can also listen on those platforms or YouTube if you're on the other ones. Other than that, we would like to thank you for tuning into this episode. And as we all always say, adios and goodbye. Thank you for watching the Mario Superstar Baseball podcast. If you enjoyed this one, you can look at the other one that will be right in front of you right here. Yes, right in front of your face. Make sure to watch that episode. I'm not lying. Please watch that episode. It's right in front of you. Just click the goddamn button.